Hello, everyone, and
Shalom,
welcome.
Nairobi.
Yes, we're joining you live from Tel Aviv, Israel, for today's gitStream workshop. My name is Guy. I'm a customer success manager at Linear B, and with me co-hosting is Ofer. Ofer, do you want to say hello as well?
Hey, I'm really excited to be here. I'm Ofer. I'm leading the gitStream product, and for me, it's like, yeah, today is really exciting to show you all what we can do with gitStream. Thank you for being here.
Great. So without further ado, let's touch on the agenda. I know everyone is going to ask that. This is live, but this is also being recorded, so we can send out the recording afterwards. So what we're going to do today, we're going to talk about the power of workflow automation and also basically what is gitStream. And then we're going to do like a hands-on session that Ofer is going to lead. We're going to see gitStream installation, and we encourage you to follow along with us on the steps. We're going to do it in a timely manner. You can also follow along. We're going to see 3 different automations. We're going to see adding a label for estimated review time, for review and approve safe PRs, and also for dynamic code owners. After that, Ofer will wrap up and give it back to me, and I'm going to talk about the gitStream roadmap that we're going to have. Some housekeeping rules. Please try to stay on mute, and if you have any questions whatsoever, please submit them in the chat, and we will do our very best to answer them for you. Okay, let's get started. Why did we even think about gitStream? Where did it come to life? So in Linear B, we love numbers. So we did like a significant research. We looked at around 1 million PRs and almost like 4 million reviews and comments out of more than 25K data of developers. And we found that code is being stuck in the PR process. Now, it's good that we have the PR process and we have a review. We don't want everyone committing into production without someone else to have eyes on what they wrote. But what we are here to challenge is that all PRs were created equally, with a wink to George Orwell. So we are saying this is not correct. Every PR has their own story and need to be treated differently. Now, we have here in the PR process, we have this also amazing bot that is called WorkerBee to help in automation in the PR process, but this is not the subject of today's workshop. What we are talking about is taking a shift left and having automation already in the Git side when the PR is issued. So let's see how it unfolds. So what we are basically saying that you can use the code as a policy to classify different PRs. Now, we have selected the syntax language as a YAML that is pretty much like very straightforward, like it's already known from other concepts. And basically, Ofer will dive deeper on that, but we see that we have an if and a then, like action, run. So basically, like different PRs can be treated differently. Maybe some need to see like a context tag, what we are working on. We're working on an API, formatting. Is this a safe change, a complex change, a business logic change? Maybe we need to find the right reviewer for the tasks to improve the quality. Or we need more than one reviewer. Let's say you are touching like, I don't know, an authentication API, or you are doing like some really sensitive change that can impact production. Now, what we want to help you to achieve is having a review policy as a code. And I'm having conversations with our customers as part of gitStream rollout. And usually I like to ask like dev teams, like, do you have a review policy? And the answers I'm getting varies between we don't have a review policy, or like we have something, it's not documented, like every team does what is working for them, to a very comprehensive review policy. And usually the type of questions we ask is like, do you use labels on your PRs? How many approvals do you want as part of your Git checks? Or maybe do you have code owners? Now, what we want to help you to achieve is to have this policy as a code as granular as on a repo level. And we want to help you in some cases to move faster, and maybe in other cases to improve your quality. Now, let's talk a little bit about numbers before we get into the hands-on part. Now, since gitStream was launched, more than 33 PRs were processed by gitStream, which is amazing. But when we look at the most popular rules, we see that one is standing out, is the estimated review time labels. So basically what we do, for every PR, we can add a label, and this is also how we're going to start today, on how much time LinearB thinks the reviewer should spend on this specific PR. How do we go about this number? We have a model that takes into consideration the PR size and what files are in the PR. So it gives an estimation for the reviewer how long they should spend on that. So what we aim to do is change the behavior of reviewers in your organization. If they see a 2-minute, 1-minute estimated review time, this is most likely an easy lift. This is something that can be done right before daily stand-up, or maybe right after daily stand-up. We want to be able to unblock the work for our team and let them carry on. But if it's in half an hour or 1 hour, I think this is like, first you need to brace yourself. Like, this is a big PR that you're going to review. And what we also encourage you to do is block this time in your calendar and maybe also put D&D on Slack or MS Teams so you can start and finish this review at the same sit. Because we have also learned that if reviewers start a review and don't follow through the same day when they get back to it, the following day, usually they will not remember where to stop. They need to invest time to regain that context. What is it that they were working on? Maybe go a bit back to see what lines of code they've already reviewed. And we want to give you this time back. I think in this stage, Ofer, I'm going to hand it over to you. So go ahead.
Thank you. So again, I'm really excited to be here. I'm Ofer, and I'm leading the gitStream product. And I want to show you today how to use gitStream and apply workflow automations. And this is the thing that can help you and your team as from the few minutes from now, once you do that. And I will also really encourage you, this is a hands-on workshop. So we'll give you some time, follow along with me. I'll show you, I'll get you through the installation, which is the 2 minutes process. And then we are going to check and see some cool automation rules. And then you can pick it up from there. And it's also it's going to be very challenging for me because I need to talk and to code in the same time. So bear with me.
Yeah, I'm sure you will do great, Ofer. And it's good that you also remember to give a start to your own project. Always
I don't know why I didn't have that. So yeah, we'll start with gitStream. gitStream is and Guy, you can share the link in the chat. Go over there. We'll start from there. So I'll give you a few seconds to do that.
So yeah. So this is the offer. This is our community page, I think, and we want to share the link for installation. So I can also share that.
Okay, cool. So great. Okay. So now I'll go to the installation page. Sorry, it's not here. Let's start from the documentation. So here you see the GitHub link. The installation link is here. You should click that. And here you should choose your company repository. And you are presented with an option either to install it for all your repositories or only on selected repositories, okay? And here you can, I will choose, let's say, one of the repositories and just press install. Cool. You'll see black screen for redirecting. This is normal. And now you should all be here. Again, I will give you some a few seconds to do that. Basically, what we did up till now, we connected gitStream service to GitHub. So it can get the events to apply the automations. From here, what we'll do, we'll create two files. One is the rule files. So the rule files are in a specific directory .cm, which stands for continuous merge. And in it, you can place rule files. We'll start with just one. The other thing that we're going to do is to place a GitHub action file, which actually you don't need to touch it after you install it, but this is actually the runner. This will trigger every time and we'll do the rule parsing and then call for the automations. So let's start with that. Okay, so I'll switch to my repo that I just installed gitstream, and I'll create a new file. And actually, GitHub did a pretty good job here in helping to add new files. This is the first one. So under .cm, put your default rule files, and I'll copy the rules. And just in I don't want just to give you the a way to read that. You see that the rule files holds automations, and you have like blocks of automations. Like Guy said before, you have for each automation, you have if part and run part. Each of them is a list. So you can have multiple lines here. You can later edit this code or this condition. Don't do it just now. We'll start simple. And in here, you see actually the first rule that we are going to invoke, which actually adds the estimated time to review. Another thing I want to show you is that, yeah, it's YAML, but you see this double curly braces. These are actually dynamic expressions. So gitstream is not only something static. gitstream actually have a dynamic rule engine that you can use to check conditions. And later we'll go over the details here. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is to commit it directly to the main branch. You can also open it as a PR, but for the simplicity here, I will do it directly. And next, I'm going to add the other file, which is the GitHub action file. Again, file. This is called gitstream.yaml. The name is important because gitstream looks for this name to understand that you actually want to run automation in this repo. And I will paste it here. Again, I will commit it directly to the main branch for the simplicity. Now we have a new file here, .cm, gitstream.cm, and another file here under the GitHub workflows. Actually, we are done with the installation. This was it. Okay. Now let's test the new automation, right? So again, I encourage you to do it with me. Let's do a minor change in the README file. This is the easiest way to do that. I will edit it here. And you don't even have to merge it later, so don't worry. Now I will not commit it to the main branch because I want to open a PR. So I'll create a new branch. And we'll open a PR. Okay. So what do you see now? First of all, this is a file I changed, right? This is a change I did. And you'll see that gitstream starts processing the PR. Under the hood, in the background, what will happen is that gitstream will call this action that you just placed in your workflow directory. And this will invoke the processing, the rule engine. that will check the rules, of course. It's done, it's finished. It's very fast. And you see that the first automation is, and this is what we did, it's adds a label. And you can see that this label contains the estimated review time with a dynamic value, 1 minute review, with the right color. So let's check the rule again to see how it makes sense. What you see here is in the expression that it holds a variable that I defined here, calc.etr. It's an expression. And this is a user def. I could call it whatever I liked. And in it, this is the actual expression. There is a calculation of the review time. And you should read that like you read your terminal. So this is not or, this is the pipe. And actually, this is the input to this function. So you provide the branch context, and you have many more contexts to use in gitStream. And this filter or function process that to yield an estimation for the review time, something we have like a statistical model doing that. And this will be the content of the label. Next, you can see that there is another argument you can use with this action, add label, which is a color. And the color is determined by the value of the calculation. So if it's above 20 minutes, it will be red. Above 5 minutes, it will be orange or green if it's less. And this is actually what we see here, right? What's nice is that this is dynamic. So if we'll put more and more, if we'll do another commit, this value will change. And gitStream will know to update the label, okay? At the end, I want to show you how it looks in a different repo. And this is how your repo can be seen after you use gitStream. So in this repo, I have a few more rules, but you can see that every PR is decorated with the complexity level. How many, what's the review time? So this is like something you already gain by installing gitStream. You also can see other labels like non-sensitive and safe changes. I will show you these rules, and I will show you how you use them, and not only for adding labels, but actually to take actions, other actions. Cool. So what we've seen up till now, we install gitStream, and we open the PR with one rule that added the estimated review time. Now I'm going to show you a few other rules. The next one will be how we actually categorize safe changes and let gitStream approve these changes. Okay, so let's go ahead. Okay, so I will grab this code from here to my repo. And what I want to show you is what happens when you change the rules in a PR, okay? This is a PR we started, right, with the README change. Now, I will enter the branch and we'll change the rules. Because gitStream actually allows you to simulate and try new rules without any risk. So first, I'm going to put a new rule here. You see here expression that, again, for the simplicity, uses like variables. I will take them as well from here. So it's not mandatory. Actually, you could use the expression right in line here, but just to make it better, like to read, it's I took this and put it in like other section. So is not like a keyword. You can use whatever you like. You can edit that. And now let's think of it. Every team, every repo has a different definition what's safe change. But what gitstream allows you to do, it allows you to specify safe changes that fits your needs and your team and the specific project needs. And you can even also later change that because everything changed, right? When you scale, when the project gets more people. And this is what's great with gitstream. It's very flexible. Here I defined 4 conditions that I consider in my team as safe changes. One is if it's a formatting change. So if I added white spaces or other stuff for JavaScript or YAML, it will trigger as true. And only if I did only these changes, and you can see it here. I also encourage you, you can go to the documentation and look what this function is doing. The other 2 condition is docs or is test with these nice utility functions that check that all the changed files were either docs or tests. And last is because I'm in a front-end repo, I can check if it's an asset change like a picture or a CSS. So you can see here, I actually defined my own rule. I didn't use any convenience function. You can see how I took the files, piped it into this matching condition, and then checked that every one of the files actually matched this condition. So I'm sure that it's only asset change. Once either of these conditions is true, then gitstream will add a label and will approve the PR. 2 actions, 1 and 2. Let's see
Ofer,
how it works.
we have a question from the crowd. I think it's relevant. Do we have to have all the rules under the same CM files, or we can have separate CM files?
Great question. So actually, gitstream is very flexible. You can put as many .cm files in this directory. You can split it as long as you have like one automation section. Then you can have I could like create another file with this automation. So it's up to you. You can use one file, multiple file. It's up to you, and they are separate, and they will work together. Now, for this example, I will commit this change directly to the branch, to the PR branch. What will happen now is, remember that I change a README file, okay? And now I'm changing the rules, right? What happens that in this condition, gitstream will switch modes. It will switch to a dry run mode. What it means? It means that gitstream allows you to experiment risk-free with changes in the rules. So it will stop doing any automation, real automation, but will simulate it. And the way it will simulate it, it will output the what if results into a comment in this PR. What I expect to see, or here to go. So gitstream yielded with a result, and this is a dry run. So you can see that nothing else happened, only the comment. And you see that it says that it will add a label with 1 minute review, like it did, but it also will approve safe changes. This triggered because actually we changed just a documentation file. And it will add a label safe changes and will approve the PR. Okay, so this is what you can do with gitstream. I will merge the new rule. And now if we go to the code and do another change, like in this text file, we can see how gitstream auto approves that. Now for real, because now we change the rules, right? So in a production repo, you'll get this as a protected branch. but here in my side repo, it doesn't. Let's see that it kicks in. Just a minute. Okay, so it took a few seconds. Okay. So what we see now is that I merge the approve safe changes rule. We are still now on a PR with a documentation change in a text file. And what I expect to see is that a few things will happen. First, that the label of the estimate review time will apply. Here it is. Then that the gitStream will mark this PR as safe change because this is what we defined. And last, that gitStream will add approval for this PR. And think of it, you can decide what PRs doesn't need to go through a human review because you defined the conditions and you can enforce that with gitStream. And you can see that gitStream approved the PR and it was added to the timeline.
Yeah, Ofer, I have like an interesting story, like from one of my customers. So they tell me that they have like also translation to Japanese, only for documentation. So only documentation. It doesn't affect production or like or the pipeline. So basically, what they did, they used gitStream for these translations because like obviously the translator should translate to Japanese, and no one else from the team knew Japanese. So it was a bit tricky or funny to let someone else review this specific change. So they can write a lot of documentations and like really speed the process on that.
Yeah, actually, this is a great segue to say that gitStream, and again, I'm jumping to the other repo. I have a few other rules. gitStream can actually do things like you have. I don't know who here is using code owners, but it can do this for more or less the same, but dynamically. So this is an example. Actually, I took from one of our users. So they had code owners, but they wanted like to have something that is dynamic and also balance how many approvals they need to get and where. So you can see two automations here. One is like the code owners. You define files, you check the files, and you check if they are included in a sensitive list. And again, this is a user-defined list, which I did here. This is the list of files that I defined as sensitive or directories. So if any of the files that were changed match this list, and this is some, so it's like any partial, this will trigger. But also, I want also to remove safe changes. So if you change only documentation here or an asset, I don't care about it. Once these two conditions apply, I want to add this team as reviewers. And I also want to require one of this team review or like approval. The other thing that this user did is say, okay, and what about the rest? So you see, like here's the inverse or the opposite condition. Check that from the files, again, match to the sensitive list, but now use nope, meaning none matched. And if this condition triggers, I want to apply a label, non-sensitive, and actually approve it. And this is how you can balance how much you want to emphasize code review and balance risk versus how much you want to move faster. And I'm going like to try it out in this repo, okay? So let's see what happens if I change one of these files or in this path, okay? So I'm going to change a sensitive file. Let's do it here. Okay. So in this repo, we have multiple rules, and this is a repo with branch protection. We see gitstream starting to run, and if you want gitstream to be able to block merge, you need to set gitstream as required check. I will jump over for a minute to the documentation to show you. It's right after the installation. You see instruction how to set gitstream as required check. What it means that gitstream check is mandatory for your repo. And this allow gitstream to actually block PRs. Okay. Again, like in my other repo, you can see the action running here in the background. Okay, we're starting to see the automation results. First is the label, because in this repo, we also have this label, the automation rule. We have another rule I didn't get into that actually suggests who should be the reviewer based on git blame. And you can read more about it in the docs on how to set it. Wait, I touched like a sensitive code, but see what happened. What happens that gitstream identified that actually what I did is a formatting change and actually proved that. So again, gitstream is very, you can define great rules that combines to actually make the right decision. Okay, great. So I think this covers the things that I wanted to go over with you on this repo. And
we have a
we
question.
have many. Sorry?
We have a question. Like,
Yeah.
if someone is a starter, like this is the first time that they've seen gitstream, how would you recommend like them to start? Like, which rules? Like, start with first. How to work?
Okay. So I recommend you going to our documentation, and you can put the link either from our repo or directly to the documentation. Here you have examples. And actually, because you can place files in the directory, you can actually download these .cm files into your repository and play with them. And you have like many different examples, from sharing knowledge or marking PRs for deleted files. If you think that this is something that you want to have context on your PRs, or you can identify contributors starting to work in a certain repo and mark their on the first few weeks, help them and have a specific comment for your team. You can do that. You can identify that, and you can add the comment and assign the team leader as a reviewer for a certain time. And you can change everything you see here. And you can even see more examples in the repository. Okay, in the gitstream repository, you can have even more examples, and this is something we are adding every day. Okay. Okay, so I'm moving it back to you, Guy.
Okay, perfect. So now we can talk about the roadmap and what is coming soon. So yeah, let me quickly also share my screen again, and I can show you the roadmap. Done. Cool. And roadmap. Brilliant. So I saw these questions also coming up in the chat, and I promised like to answer that when we are going to talk about like our roadmap. So we're going also to come with an org-wide automation or org level automation. So you can set like default rules that will apply across all your repositories, which is like very exciting. Now, the next big thing that we're going to do, we're going to to bring to a gitStream web app. So basically, it will give you a place to visualize and see exactly where your rules have been implemented. And last but not least, we have like new integrations that are coming with Sonar and Sneak. So yeah, there are a lot to expect here. And yeah, I don't know, Offer, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I would say gitStream first. We built gitStream with developer in mind. It's very flexible. You can take it anywhere. We are discovering new use case every day. For example, just today, a user talked to me about finding time, like identifying when developers are altering the database, like changing code that actually touch drops the database or add tables and mark them with gitstream. Because with gitstream, you can check the file list, but you can actually also check for code changes, specific code changes that matter to your team. And you can apply safeguards that relevant to your team. You can take it everywhere. And also the thing that you set right now will be different like in a half a year or a year from now. And gitstream can be like, it's a good investment, like to evolve it with your needs.
Yeah, this is amazing. I think it's also worth to mention when we're talking about the roadmap that GitLab is now open for beta, and maybe we can also drop the link to specifically for to work with GitLab as well. There will be like other providers in the future. Currently, we don't have like an established timeline. And yeah, thank you very much for joining today. We had a great time with you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.